Have you ever felt lost not knowing what to do or unsure about whether you're making the right decisions in life or not? But do you know the reason why you feel this way is not because you don't have the choice, but rather you have too many choices and don't know how to choose. Today's book teaches us how we can make our life decision correctly with only a clear 3-step process. If you have important decisions to make, or you want to live a life that's more fulfilling, it's an important episode. Listen in.
Welcome to A Book with Bubble Tea. With your host, Mira He. Here, I share takeaways from East Asian books on parenting, startups, and self-growth. Seeking insights beyond the typical English shelf? Want to be a better parent and achieve more in life? You're in the right place. Grab your bubble tea and let's dive in.
Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of A Book with Bubble Tea. I'm your host, Mira He. If you do feel I sound differently, it's because I caught a cold. So I just have to say it out loud before you start to wonder. In today's book, we're going to look at how to make life decisions based on our self-discovery of what truly matters to us. So has any one of you actually feel quite confused about, how to make the right decisions in life, especially when we face big decisions like what subjects to study, what job should I take, or whether I should quit my current job or not. 2 weeks ago, I shared a book on what successful people do only in their 40s. Since then, I've been going through this kind of confusion. I want to find something to spend for the rest of my life, the second half of my life on, but I can't seem to come up with anything that interests me. I don't know whether this is something about my midlife crisis. And, usually when I go through this kind of moment of confusion, my mind just can't think about anything else but this alone. And fortunately, maybe because of this yearning desire, I came across today's book while I was jogging on a treadmill in the gym. Immediately, I knew this was the book I must read. I could almost hear the music of Destiny at the background when I came across this book. After reading it, I can honestly say it did not disappoint. It's so good. I believe this will be, my top 10 favorite books so far I've read. I love the simplicity, I love how logical it is, and effective method that the author lays down in his book to help us identify the most important but yet overweighted questions in life. What do I really want to do with my life now? So in today's episode, I'm going to share the author's simple but effective process so that we can all learn it together to, come to our own conclusion of what do you really want to do with your life now. Sounds good? The title of today's book is The World's Easiest Way to Help You Find the Things You Really Want to Do, written by Jimpei Yagi, published in 2020 in Japan. As soon as it was published, it immediately got wide attention and became a bestseller. To date, around 350,000 books have been sold with 4,000 reviews on Amazon. It's also Amazon Japan's third most gifted book in the career change category. In this book, the author talks about a paradox. It seems like the more self-improvement books we read, the worse we actually feel about ourselves. Or, as most of us have experienced, the more options we have, the more lost we feel. Why is that? The author gives a straightforward answer. Because we don't know how to deal with so many options. And if we don't have a clear criterion on discerning options, we can be easily overwhelmed and feel dissatisfied or unhappy. But the solution to this problem is also very simple. Have a clear criterion then, something for us to make a decision upon. And only options satisfy the criterion will be kept. For example, you want to buy shoes. There are many shoes at a shoe store. If you don't know what you want, then all shoes are potential options for you to consider buying. But if you know you're buying a pair for mountain hiking that need to be durable, easy to walk, and for long distance, and waterproof, you can easily filter out high heel sneakers, flats, and focus on a few options that satisfy your criteria. And it goes the same with our life too. And the question is, what could be the effective criterion for us to make life decisions? The author Jimpei Yagi says the criterion is simple. Simply, what do I really want to do with my life now? You might think, what? That's it? Yes, that's it. But the easiest questions might be the hardest to answer because most people, including me, actually don't know what we really want to do. Or, we might think we know, but it's based on very limited perspective, so we easily give up when we face setbacks. So what is the way that the author proposes that will reveal our inner desire truly and fully to us? But before we dive into the author's step-by-step guide on how, we can find things we really want, I just want to quickly share the story about the author and how did he begin his self-discovery journey. The author Jimpei Yagi wrote this book based on his real personal journey to search for things that he really wanted to do in his life after he got fired from a convenience store. The author, went to one of the top universities in Japan, Waseda University, but he couldn't even do the basic job like, giving the right cigarette packets for the customers, like something that even a high school dropout can do. He said it completely crushed his confidence and pride until he came across a psychometric test online that revealed his weaknesses and his strengths. Apparently, according to the test, he sucks at routine work. He hates, interaction with strangers. He says it drains him. And he can't follow command well. So with these three combined, no wonder he sucks at working at the convenience stores, right? Fortunately, the test also showed that, what he is good at. He is good at, having plenty of ideas. He is good at conveying his ideas to others. So this time, a lesson learned, he decided to play at his strength. He started blogging, and since he writes pretty well, in a short amount of time, in 1.5 years, his monthly pay is already like 3 times higher than normal graduate students' pay, hitting 1 million Japanese yen per month. So, to hit a bigger target, he wrote more to earn more, but very soon he realized, there's something wrong. He is not happy. He's constantly depressed. He couldn't think clearly and couldn't taste the food that he's eating. Back then there was no COVID. But he did a diagnosis online and it showed that he suffers from mild depression. This experience gave him a wake-up call. He realized he really, really needed to do something about it. He needed to look deeper within himself to find out what made him unhappy, unfulfilling, and what he's currently going through and what he truly wants to do. Essentially, he had to answer these questions like, what do I really want to do with my life now? So he started to blog about his journey of self-discovery, which got some media's attention. And he also started coaching other people, to find what they really want to do in their lives. And that gave birth to this book. So this book is full of his personal experiences, plus his experiences of, coaching other people. So it's full of his wisdom. So now it's finally the time that I'm going to share the 3-step process of the authors to help us truly find something we really want to do in our lives too. The 3 steps guide to self-discovery. The author believes that finding something we truly want to do wholeheartedly requires assembling 3 pieces of the puzzle. They are our values, our talents, and our passion. The 3-step process is designed to help us identify each individual piece because, what we truly want to do actually lies at the intersection of these 3 components. So I'm going to talk about the first component, which is our value. To begin our self-discovery journey, the first thing we need to do is to find our values. What is value? Values are things that we find important to us. They fundamentally shape our perspectives in judging what is meaningful to us and what is not. In a nutshell, our values give us purpose at work and meaning at work. If we don't know our values, then, we probably don't know what is important to us, then we might experience the same situation like the author, where he earns a lot of money, but feels completely drained. So how do we identify our values? The author provides 5 questions we can ask ourselves, and I'll recommend you to write down all these questions. So, in this episode, I'm going to actually, share with you a lot of those questions that the author asked in the book in each of the 3 components. They are very important because, the author designed those questions in a way that we feel a lot of things that we might even take it for granted or we are not aware. So the questions that he designed, I think are really quite important. So if you can, I'll recommend you, to write down the questions and to really take your time, go through it, write it down. And I think you will find it very beneficial. All right. So the first question is, who do you respect? They can be your friends, teachers, or any characters like a TV characters, animation characters. Doesn't matter. So, why do you respect them? The people we respect might actually embody some values that we appreciate. Try to see beyond what they do, because what we are trying to see is not what they do like day to day, but, something more fundamental that makes them do what they do. For example, I really admire my husband, my father, and a business friend of my dad's. And I didn't really know why I admired them, because they all do different things, right? So if I just simply look at what they do, I might get confused. But, the author's questions prompt me thinking. And I realized the reason is because all these 3 people, they have the ability to see the underlying logic in things. So it doesn't matter what they do. They seem to be very clear about what do they need to do because they know the underlying logic of things so well. And then they can grasp it so easily. And I think that is why I respect them a lot. So try to see beyond what they do and try to see what are the things that make them do what they do. All right, the second question is what are some experiences that influenced you the most when you were young or in your teenage years? What are they? How did they shape your values? The author says the formation of our value often comes from things we experience at a young age. He remembered one of his primary school teachers who really shocked him. She had long wavy hair, and she came to school with damaged skinny jeans with a lot of accessories. So he says ding ding dong dong dong. They're very loud. And she sounded really bossy too. Her appearance definitely didn't fit in a typical image of a teacher, but she cared a lot for her students and was excellent at what she did. The author said that experience left a deep impact on him to be authentic, to himself. So that's question number 2. Question number 3, what are you unhappy about in the current society? This may actually reflect our preferences for an ideal world, which may further show our value. Plus, bringing reality closer to our ideal world might be something that will motivate us. Who knows? Personally, I feel really cross when I see someone or something bullies others by exploiting their power. Either at work, in politics, in business, or in education, doesn't really matter. I just really hate when one party does something solely for his or her benefit at the price of screwing over other people who are less powerful. I think maybe coming from Taiwan makes me quite sensitive to these kind of situations because I feel like we're constantly undergoing, those kind of unjust situations, in my opinions. But, that's me. You have your own thing that will make you feel unhappy about in the current society. All right, question number 4. Ask your friends or family what are the things that they think you will treasure forever. It's better, if they can give you some concrete examples too. We know that other people might see us clearer than, how much we understand about ourselves. So ask your friends, what do they think that are the most important thing to you? Something that they think you will always value and always treasure. Question number 5. What actions do you want to advise others or your kids to take? And what actions do you definitely don't want to advise them? So try to list them down, and it might reveal your hidden values. For example, I'll definitely teach my kids there's always a way. Even if nothing seems possible, there will always be a way to solve or get through the difficulties that lie ahead. So I can say perhaps I value resilience, confidence, positivity. But one thing I would never ever teach my kids that is they can just do whatever they want, even if they have the right to do whatever they want. But not all things are good for them. They need to discern all the options and make wise decisions that will benefit them in the long run. I can see probably I really hate people who are selfish, and I probably value wise decision making or, cooperation, community building, and self-responsible, that kind of thing. Perhaps. These are just, my examples. I'm sure you will have something of your own. And after we answer these 5 questions, we should be able to spot some keywords there. And from those keywords, you can probably think about even more keywords. So you can start to categorize them. Those with similar meanings, you can put them together and see whether you can identify certain patterns and pick a few keywords that you think, yes, they definitely, represent you and represent your value. And among these values, you should prioritize one, because that one directly speaks to you and can give purpose of your work. If you're unsure which keyword or which value can be a good purpose of work for you, you can then think about your previous successes at influencing other people. What did you do to impact others? The author says, he went through this exercise and he realized he has helped quite a lot of people realize their dreams. And that's before he came to the conclusion that he wants to, do this coaching thing as a profession. So, this exercise helped him realize that he really wants to help more people to understand themselves and figure out what they are good at, what they really want to do. Therefore, this exercise has helped him prioritize this particular value, which is to help people realize their dream. And this thing will become a clear filter later on when he encounters anything he wants to do or anything that he's good at doing. This value will guide him and help him discern whether it's something that, he wants to spend the rest of his life or even invest his time in doing. Okay, now moving on to the second piece of the puzzle, your talent. To find the things we want to do, we need to know what we like to do, which is our passion, and what we are good at doing, that is our talent. It's painful to improve in areas where we are naturally weak, requiring a lot of effort just to be mediocre. But when it's something that we are naturally good at, we can easily achieve outstanding results with ease. So playing to your strength is crucial. But what are your talents? We need to understand that talent here is not about a specific skills that you have acquired, like your computer skill or piano skills that you learned. Talent here refers to your raw abilities that you possess even if you are not aware of them. It's something no one has taught you, but you just know how to do. It's almost like a second nature to you. For example, being very observant of others' needs or wanting to make others laugh might come naturally to you. Or, like my mom, she's just naturally good at telling stories. No matter, whether it's a Sunday school story about Jesus or just a normal update about other family members, she can make everything so intriguing and funny. I don't think she ever learned how to tell a story, but she's just naturally good at it. Well, you might think, okay, I got you, but I really don't think I have any particular natural talent. Well, the truth is everyone has talent we're born with. Even what we think we're weak or, something that is our shortcoming, at the right circumstances, they are actually our strengths. We often take them for granted. That's why we don't know them. We don't notice them. We need to do a bit of a dig-in to identify what we are naturally good at. So if you want to find out what you are naturally good at doing, why not ask yourself the following questions? First, any experiences that particularly energize you or make you feel happy or fulfilled? When we do things that play at our strengths, we feel everything is at ease, and that usually makes us very happy. I'll try to think about those circumstances. Second, name the most recent situation that annoyed you a lot. What happened there? You often get annoyed because, someone else failed to do something that we think it's so easy. It's because we are naturally good at doing something. So other people falling short at that annoys us a lot. So try to think, any situation that you feel particular annoyed at, to me, definitely is planning ahead. I like doing things perfect. So if I see other people don't think and just do things and mess things up and make things ugly and you have to tidy it up, it annoys me so much. Third, ask your friends what they think your strengths are. Fourth, if you have to quit your current job or what you are doing at the moment, which part of it will you actually miss, when you leave? And, which part of it would you actually want to continue? The key is to see work as a combination of multiple processes rather than a single whole. So even if you hate a job a lot, there must still be a part of it that you enjoy doing. So what is that? That might be what you're actually naturally good at. Fifth, up till now, what achievements have you made? How did you manage to achieve those achievements? Achievements here don't need to be grand or like, oh, I made $1 million. It doesn't have to be like that. It's just like something, whatever pops up in your mind when you are asked about these questions. Try to think back to how you felt about it, what you did to make it happen, any particular circumstances, what action did you take, what your motivation was, when the feeling of fulfillment ended, and anything you wish you could have learned and done differently. Try to ask yourself these questions. It will reveal to you what you are naturally good at. For example, I can think about the experience of me writing my tour guide book of London, I think about 10 years ago now. It was certainly very demanding as there are a lot of details to care about, and every day I had to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to make breakfast for my B&B guest and to clean the house while writing this book. I often fell asleep while driving. I remember so bad. If you just sit me down without asking me anything, I would just naturally fall asleep because I was so tired. But now, looking back, it's such a fulfilling and wonderful experience. I really, really enjoyed it. I really, really enjoyed doing my bed and breakfast. I really enjoyed writing my book. Once you go through those questions, you will surely notice many things you are naturally good at. Try to list at least 10 of them or even more and make them into a booklet. This will be the manual about you, the user guide on how to use yourself well. Yeah, I think coming up with your user guide, it's such a good analogy, isn't it? Like if you're a piece of a machine, if you're a piece of equipment, how would you write about your strengths and how would you advise other people, including yourself, to use this machine well so it performs the maximum performance, right? All right. The third piece of the puzzle is our passion. Passion sounds intimidating, at least to me, it sounds like a very intense emotion. But when viewed as an interest or curiosity, it becomes a lot more approachable, right? Pursuing passion is crucial, as work driven by interest often surpass work motivated solely by financial gain. So how do you find your passion? Ask yourself below questions. First, what would you want to learn, even at a cost, even if you have to pay money? Second, what types of books fill your bookshelf? Third, have you encountered anything that feel like a revelation or a lifesaver, like so good? I'm so thankful that I come across this piece of information or come across this person. Have you ever had that experiences? Fourth, whom or what are you deeply grateful for? Like it could be something or to somebody. The first step is to come up with hypotheses of what you think you may like doing. It's very simple. Just take a look at your talent and your passion. So your talent and your passion together. And imagine anything and everything you can do with these things combined. Don't think about what is practical, what will earn you money. No, just simply look at your passion and your talent. For example, if your passion is in self-improvement, learning, and fashion designing, and your talent is at systematically organizing information and then encouraging other people with words and making presentations, then you can, hypothesize perhaps the things that you may want to do are teaching self-development programs to other people, or be a fashion consultant to help others find the clothes that will fit them and boost their confidence, or, perhaps a fashion designer. The point here is to list as many possibilities as possible. Quantity matters more than quality here. And once you have the list of things that you think you might want to do, then it's time to evaluate them. Examine them with your value in mind. Remember, in the exercise of value, we said there is one value that you should, prioritize it. So it becomes your prioritized value. Use that to evaluate all these options that you have come up with to see which one or what kind of work that can potentially give you purpose and meaning at work. So in the author's case, the value he identified is to help other people achieve their dreams. So from that value, he can filter out most of the items, and categorize them into simply a hobby category list. And from that, there's one thing that particularly stood out that he believed it can be something that he can do for job, for a profession. And that is basically to coach other people on this self-realization program to help other people to discover what they are passionate about doing, what they're good at doing, and what they really want to do in their life. So, this is what the author has come up with from his own exercise of, all these things together. And once you have that nailed, the rest is just trial and error in designing a work model or a workflow that will work for you. So the author says, even if you are doing your dream job, you think this is the thing that gives you the purpose in life, and then you feel that this is your calling, this is something that you meant to do. However, not every single element of that job will necessarily energize you, or, you will enjoy everything that involves around that particular job that you choose. For example, the author says, coaching other people. He enjoys doing that. He absolutely loves doing it. This is his calling in life. He feels like this is, just something that he's good at, he's passionate about, and, it fits in with his value. But he cannot stand giving repetitive lectures or seminars over and over again. He does not like repeated work. And he said he cannot stand listening to other people's stories. It just drains him. It's just him. He cannot stand it. So he realized doing it like a lecture or doing it like a seminar doesn't work for him. He needs to find another way. He needs to design a workflow that is different to this. So what he has come up is he decided to record a lot of videos and he decided to write a book so that when people sign up for his program, they can just read a book or, they can watch videos. And then his role becomes answering specific questions. Once the students or, those people who sign up for his program encounter, then it's time for him to answer those specific questions to the students or, to those people who signed up. In this way, he's not only picked something that plays at his strength, but he designed a workflow that will further enable him to go a long way in things that he chose to do, and he won't feel depleted in a short amount of time because it's something that he's good at doing, and it's in a format that he can sustain himself and continue to motivate himself. All right, this is the book for today. And I do hope that you have a chance to do these exercises because I'm certainly going to do it. And I can really tell it's revealing a lot of things about me. And I could already see, whatever I come up with, it will really help me make better decisions about my career, about my future life, because I have something that's solid. I have something that I am certain about. What is going to fit me? How do I play at my strength? And what do I value the most? And how do I use that? And I think if you do the exercise, it will come clear to you too. And I really like the way that it's so logical. I don't know about you, but at least for me, whenever people talk about, what do you need to be successful, like what it takes to be successful, a lot of them, they say you got to be passionate, right? You got to be passionate about the things that you want to do, like something that you just don't want to give up. You're passionate about it. But I never have such an intense emotion like, oh, I'm just so passionate about it. I cannot quit, because I just love it so much. I never have such thing. So I always feel like, does it mean I'm doomed? Just because I never have such an intense feeling that I just love doing this so much. But, this book has shown me I have my passion. It's just not in such an intense form. And to be honest, like, not all your passions are suitable to turn into a career. Because we got to face it. Well, let's say, for example, you want to be a baseball player. I should say, you like playing baseball. And then you think, right, I got to be a baseball player because that's what my passion is about. But do you like every single thing of a baseball player do? Like, do you like the fact that you might not have privacy because all your baseball fans will be watching you? Do you like the fact that you have to travel to different cities all the time and you have to live apart from your family? Do you like the fact that you might be traded to a different baseball team? Do you feel that is fair? Does that fit well with your value? There are a lot of other things of being a baseball player that you haven't taken into consideration. That's why a lot of people, they thought, this is my calling. This is something I'm so passionate about. But soon they realize actually they hate it. There are certain aspects of it they really, really don't like it. So it doesn't work. So the author here is like, we don't have to turn every single passion of ours into a job, into a career. We should use our value, the value that we particularly prioritize to evaluate it, to see whether this is something that we truly, truly want, and also have a chance to turn into a career, right? Something you want to do, but it doesn't mean there is a market for it. So you can evaluate them in a logical way to identify something that is suitable to be a career and that play at your strength, and you have the correct value lining with it, and you have the right talent for it, right? So I think everything is so logical in this book, which I really love. And even if there are certain aspects of it you don't like of certain job, you can always redesign the workflow. So you can continue to play at your strength in a way that will further sustain you. And I just feel like all these reminders are so great and so precious. The guidance is so practical and easy to follow. And that's why I really love this book. And I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it will benefit you too. All right, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, Spotify, or YouTube. So let's learn together and enjoy our bubble tea. Shall we? All right. See you next time. Bye.